All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be touching on the top prop bets today in the MLB on both PrizePicks and Underdog. Also touching on a little bit of NBA Summer League at the end of this video. Let's go ahead and get into it. So looking at the board that we have today on PrizePicks, it actually is looking like a decent board today, a little bit better than some of the other slates that we have experienced recently, which to me is a good thing. Like it's for Monday as well. Like this is a decent board for us to attack. It's just whether or how much we really want to attack it. So we'll start out with PrizePicks here and we'll jump into MLB directly. I mean, that's really all that's going on today anyways, but looking at the MLB slate that we have, we are going to see that Lindor is actually one of the better prop bets that we have today in terms of getting his over. The issue that I have with this one is that it is going to be a low scoring game, but in terms of looking at the lines, we can clearly see that the PrizePicks line is going to be the outlier data point, 7.5 for him there. You look at the underdog projection, 8.5. The projection data has it at 8.5. The average sportsbook line about 8.5. So really across the board, this is a line that kind of sticks out as an outlier data point. Again, don't exactly like the fact that's a low scoring game, but it kind of is what it is. Another good prop bet that we have, especially when we're comparing the lines, is going to be looking at Gavin Williams for over his pitching fantasy score. Looking at about 5.4 innings pitched. Now, this is going to be a low scoring game, has the ability to get a win here as well. Just a solid line across the board. Again, DVP wise, given the matchup that he has, should be able to get the over as well, like that. And just across the board, we're going to see that the PrizePicks line is going to be the outlier data point. So we could potentially stop there. Something that I tried yesterday. Freddie Freeman ended up getting his over fantasy score, only 50% there. WNBA ended up hitting, but we could stop there. But still, if we want to keep going, we could. Like Christian Walker. Don't like the fact that he's projected to get 7.9 for his hitting fantasy score, but still not a bad prop bet for us. This is one where we could definitely still run out if you guys wanted to bet his under, but we can just go with this over here where we're going to see decently high scoring game, again, a little bit higher scoring there, favor to win. So we obviously like that. And again, just looking at the other lines that we have, that's a decent edge that we have. CJ Abrams for under his fantasy score. And then Ali De La Cruz on Underdog, we're going to see that that's going to be a better bet there. Mitchell Parker for over his pitching fantasy score, that's a good one as well. So we actually have a decent amount of good options today, MLB-wise, which is a little bit shocking. And now before we get into the PrizePicks bet of the day, I do just want to see, let's sort it by, let's go through the processes. Where does the data correlate? Let's just see that. And you can see, we're probably just going to round out these top four because after that, it does become a tighter board. Let's go ahead and just sort by a couple of other things as well. Like game total wise, actually, it's not really worthwhile just because, not too many high scoring games. We'd probably want to be favoring a lot of the unders actually, given the fact that, the games are lower scoring today. So you could just sort by, 8.5 and lower and see kind of which games you would maybe want to attack some of these under prop bets just because, again, those games are a little bit lower scoring. Let's go ahead and show you guys the PrizePicks bet of the day, and then I'll get into Underdog, and then I'll talk about a little bit of Summer League as well. All right, so looking at the PrizePicks bet of the day, just simple, going to be going with those top four like I just mentioned. Mitchell Parker for over his pitching fantasy score, that one's a good edge. One of the better edges that we have today, especially in comparison to all the other lines, is going to be Gavin Williams for over his pitching fantasy score. Francisco Lindor going to be exactly the same there as well, where, we can see the two outlier data points that we're getting for those two props is going to be the PrizePicks line. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. If you guys just want to run out a 2-slip bet, that's why I'd want to be running out there as well. Just a reminder, I have been trying to run out more 5 and 6 slip bets. Again, if there is a fifth bet that I feel comfortable with that pops up throughout the day, WNBA is not in there just yet. I'll be touching on Summer League in just a second, and I will be showing you guys some discrepancies as well. You could toss that in there to make it a 5-slip bet. Now, if you've been just choosing the top 2 bets, you've been doing pretty well recently from the bet of the day. Obviously, doing 5 or 6 slip bets just not going to hit as frequently. I think you guys all get that concept, right? Let's go ahead and jump on into Underdog. So today, the Underdog board is honestly kind of annoying just in the sense that a lot of these hits, runs, RBIs props where they're probably going to be pushes. Those are some of the better ones today, but the projection data does like the over. So mostly probably going to be prop bets that I'm staying away from there, but let's just go ahead and jump into the MLB side of it because I do want to sort by where the data correlates because I just want to call that out again. That is the theme today is a lot of those hits, runs, RBIs props are probably the ones that we should be using, which is a little bit annoying again. But so yes, we're just going to see where the data correlates and we get a better idea of what we could potentially be running out there. So Gavin Williams, again, on both sites is going to be a good option for us. We have Spencer Steer for over his hitting fantasy score. Josh Naylor for over his hitting fantasy score. That's a good one. Marcus Semien, that's a decent one there. We could double dip the chip here, go with this one. Lance Thomas for over his hitting fantasy score. But I do like the fact that we have this little stacking opportunity right here as well. That bodes well for us. So like that's kind of been the theme lately, is that we have been getting these decent amount of good stacking opportunities. So I really don't mind that aspect. And if we are going to do Naylor for over his hitting fantasy score, we could also then just do Gavin Williams for over his pitching fantasy score as well, because that correlates. So we do have a couple of stacking opportunities here. It really just depends though. Like, which one do you like better? Do you like Spencer Steele under hits, runs, RBIs, or Spencer Steele for over his hitting fantasy score? We are seeing that there is an outlier going into that underdog projection there, those two lines. Like, it probably should be set at 2 like it's at, but because it's at 2 and they're bumping it to that line, that's telling us that he should be able to get over 7.5 for his hitting fantasy score. Like, those two don't exactly correlate. So there is a slight edge there. So again, let's go ahead and give you guys the underdog by the day. Again, underdog really been trying to do higher bets amounts lately. So let's get into that. So this is going to be a slightly reduced payout for the underdog by the day, just because we are doing kind of 2 double stacks here. And I did this on purpose where, these 2 are going to be obviously a stack that we can run out where it does correlate. And then these 2 are going to be a stack where we can run those out. And then just going with the next 2 top prop hitting fantasy score prop bets that we have for underdog. So I don't mind that. But let's go ahead now and jump into a little bit of NBA Summer League. It's fun to talk basketball, even though it's just Summer League. All right, so looking at NBA Summer League, I do want to point out the game totals that we have. These are actually kind of high-scoring game totals for NBA Summer League, which it's just one of those things where it really depends on who gets the minutes that day. And so when we look at NBA Summer League, we are going to have a very tight board today. There's not going to be that many prop bets that are going to be available at all. We know that Scotty Pippen Jr., however, is someone that when he does get minutes, like he was producing for the Grizzlies this season as well. Now, yes, the Grizzlies were running out a glorified G League team for most of the NBA season, but this is a bet where if Scotty Pippen Jr. gets like 20 minutes, he should be able to get over 14.5 points. I don't know if I exactly see the need to go with him for like points, rebounds, and assists, but that also does seem to be a little bit too low. Like, guys, he is someone that last year in the NBA averaged 25.1 minutes and 13 points. Okay, so that was in the NBA. This is Summer League. So again, if he does get that much run, he should be able to get that many points as well. The production should be there for him. So we're kind of are just betting on that. Now, last year in the preseason, he didn't play for Memphis. He played for LA. Only got 15 minutes, 4.5 points. Now, he is someone that is kind of a walking bucket, though. So this is kind of my long way of saying that as an example. Like, he is someone that we typically would in kind of this situation. If we knew how many minutes he was going to get for sure, we'd want to go in on. We don't know that, okay? And so a lot of the times we do want to be favoring a lot of the unders, okay? So like looking at it, we just don't know the minutes. And so like Jared McCain, I kind of like the under. Jack Golick. I mean, how many times is he going to shoot threes? Is he actually going to get a lot of minutes? He is a Summer League signing. He is literally here to play Summer Leagues. I feel like we're getting bets on him, like lines on him today, so people place bets on him because he's someone that does have name value. That's typically when I don't want to bet. Like most of these, we probably are wanting to bet the unders on. Now, Ricky Council is someone that can get buckets as well. I don't mind the over there, but really we just don't have that many good bets, honestly. Like rebounds for Adem Bona, I thought I'd want to be on. He did average about 5.5 rebounds, though, in college as well. Actually, his points, rebounds, and assists. If he does get a lot of minutes, I don't mind that. He was the second-round pick there for Philly. Kind of a sneaky, good defensive big. Averaged about 2 blocks during college. I probably like that one the best. Zach Edey, I don't know. Like, how many minutes is he really going to get? That seems like a very high line for him if he's not going to get that many minutes. And so I'm kind of favoring a little bit the unders here. McCain, under points, rebounds, and assists. If I had to do Scotty Pippen for over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists, I would. Bona, we don't know the minutes here. And so this is kind of also a long way of saying it is worthwhile to be checking Twitter like an hour before the game's locked just to see who's starting. Yesterday, there's a good example of this. I saw on Twitter that there's 2 players that were projected to sit for the Spurs. So thus, some of the lines that we were getting on a couple of the other Spurs were a little bit too low. And thankfully, they ended up hitting barely. But that is something where you can gain an edge because no one really cares about NBA Summer League. So I did think that was worthwhile. Then lastly, we are getting a couple of decent little edges here for soccer. Nico Williams, you can see his shots attempted. His line is slightly off there, so maybe there's something there. that's really one that I don't mind. So again, like with PrizePicks, if you guys wanted to bet his under 2.5 shots attempted, I don't mind that just because we'd want to be running out a 5-slip bet instead of that 4-slip bet. But that's going to be up to your guys' discretion, just because I don't want to force in another bet that I don't exactly like, if that makes sense. But that's going to be all for today's video. Again, if you guys want access to the tools and you guys have never signed up for membership at 9to5sports.com, you guys can do so and get 50% off your first 9to5 membership using the promo code SUMMER. You get access to all the tools that you see during these videos, and plus much more fantasy golf tools as well are going to be mixed in there. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, you can. You have until August 1st, and that's going to be for the first 200 people that sign up. All right, that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. That does help out a lot. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck today, and as always, let's keep cashing.